Hello and welcome as we are heading into Wednesday, the 8th day of November 2017. And I didn't plan on making a Bitcoin video at least 25-30 minutes ago. I wasn't planning on doing such, but I will now. And it's entirely price related action only. So I'm going to go over it as of this time, which is 8:48 p.m. Eastern, 5:48 Central, and almost 2100 hours Eastern time. I am seeing a beautiful, beautiful gain. Obviously, everything is within your own risk and your own reward. I first like to thank everyone whom has purchased the book that I've written, 11 so far, and there's going to be a fun contest next week as a quarter so far will be going towards some sort of fun contest and probably in a live stream, not too sure. I also just made a 32-minute video approximately on portfolio, bankroll management, the everything bubble. I think if you're interested in such, it's a very, very important video, or my view on the ratio and how market's going to work with the fiat currency system and the precious metals. A lot is covered in there, and the mathematical approach to protecting your bankroll while trying to get the largest profit possible. All right, and there was 5 periods within an ascending triangle in which price action resisted the 18 average of lows. Keyword resisted. Resisting obviously means it's stopping from going higher. Ascending triangle. Ascending means uptrend. Thus, doing a fantastic job in its continuation of holding and staying above the 7,000 mark. And yet all of a sudden, a nice, beautiful, big green candle is now up to the 18 average of highs. Ooh, now what situation? Well, one of the things that could happen is a short-term pullback to in here. That could very much easily happen. It could be a failed move and just retrace back and even maybe fall below 7. And markets can continue to retrace higher from this point of view. And the only level of resistance at this stage is all-time highs at 76. And short term, if we resist now, yeah, I'm talking about coming here. Well, short term, if we don't resist there and we come up here, then I'm going to be talking about this level and the top in here, not its area of a support level. And then breaking above, who knows how large this has the capabilities of going, because long term we're supposed to resist now. And the only way you can say this is resisting is by going sideways. And that's one of the things this could be doing, is just continuing its sideways range, which would mean a move at least to the 18 average of highs, which it has gotten to, maybe to previous high, and maybe even a small pierce above previous high, thus extending the size of the range, aka, or not also known as, but also done before, like it did it in here, where it extended its trading range just a little bit. Those are all different possibilities that are able to play through. But again, we're not supposed to do just a little bit of resisting long term. We're supposed to do a lot of it. We're still long term. There's lots of time. It's only been about almost a week, 4 or 5 days since price action broke above 68, 6,900, which is right now the current range. And when we switch this onto the 5-minute time frame, this is why when I do this analysis, I talk about, like, watch out for resistance when you come up to a key area, and if you break a key area, it can burst big. And that's exactly what happened here, as the market was resisting this at 1900 hours. It came back to this point, pierced above, but you know what? It's technically a hit, especially when these markets always trade like on different exchanges. easily 10, 20, 30, $40 amongst different exchanges. This is Bitstamp. Kraken will be $20 higher or $30 lower or whatever. So that makes more of a reason when you look at pierces above or below barely. It's just just a hit of previous level. And then I talk about, oh yeah, watch it to go back to where it came from. Oh, where did it come from? Well, first area would have been at 7,100, and then we have an area at 70.80. Okay, well, 70.80, although piercing above, like I say, pretty much the same as where it went to. So a small comeback from previous high. And then you see this green candle moving higher. And when you have a noticeable break above resistance, which would be about 71.70 change, then it's probably going to go. Good chance of it anyway. And you have to be really fast in situations like this. Let's look at the 1 minute time frame and see how fast you need to be. And 71.70 again is right here. What that meant is, with this being the 1 minute time frame, you had the rest of this minute duration. I don't know how long this was, probably not that long, but it could have been a bit because the next following minute it grinded around 71.80, which would have meant that was the price you would have been paying for if you were really fast on the price action breaching 71.70. And I don't know how much time you had on this candle, but probably not too long. So you might have had anywhere between 70 to 90 seconds to buy it around 71.80 or 71.70 in here. You didn't have much time on that. And that's normally, when you're in the situations of key levels, how it works. Now let's look at it even a bit more clearly in situations when you buy it and it doesn't work immediately. You break, here's a key level. So this is a clear break right here. So if you bought it at 73.20, right now you're down about 24 basis points. The old rule of thumb for me, when you buy on a break of resistance, and I don't play this way that much. I'd rather just put buy orders in when the price goes down and sell orders in when the price goes up. But when you play on a break of resistance to go long, so I don't have much experience in trades like this, but I have enough. And you have the original, maybe a little bit higher is very common, and then you come back like this. Okay, well the market's doing what it's supposed to. I have another way of playing these breakouts. So when I see this, instead of buying here, I'm going to put a buy order in at the major key point, which meant I would have got the bottom here. But that also meant that if I put a buy order in here, it's still active. So you can see how it can win and it can lose. But we're talking about buying, say around 73.18 or something in that ballpark area. Okay, so it's having its support level. That's fine and dandy. If you're playing the stop loss game, instead of using a stop loss, which is, I guess, fine and dandy, and it's going to work out the same more times than not, but I would rather that the indications tell me that it's going to roll over, because I realize stopping in here I could easily find support within this level. Stopping down here, okay, I can understand that one maybe. Again, I haven't had a stop loss. I've never had a stop loss in my life. I've never ever done it. But when you see situations where things are, what I do, with the way I do stop losses, I do it manually, meaning any type of trend reversal that looks like, okay, if I see a signal to get out, I'll use it. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't like stop losses, especially in this game, because how many times can you people can say, oh, yeah, I put a stop loss and a code, I went long here, and then I got stopped out here, and then the market does that. That's got to happen to everyone. And I know for myself, again, because I don't use stop losses, but when I do manually sell, say, at different situations like this, I've had that happen lots of times before. It's just part of the game. And it's almost like asking a professional sports team, or Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots. How many games have you lost? And there's a decent amount, but he's won a lot more. And that's exactly the mentality that I like to think as a trader, is I'm going to win a lot more games than I'm going to lose as far as what positive EV is concerned. And EV stands for, I have I have two meanings for it. The one that is known is expected variant or variable, and EV you can see greater than even, which means you're just a profitable player. Now I've already updated this chart. It's 5 minutes later. This says 155 UTC. I got it at 2 o'clock UTC. The price action has made it back up to the 18 average of highs and a little bit above. So I've already went through some analysis, and you're always, when you're looking at markets, changing and varying things with the message of the market, especially when you're in situations where if this you're looking at markets doing multiple different things. So in this case, a price that comes back to a short-term previous high. And it's interesting because if you're a long-term trader, and I don't mean, if you're a long-term trader, that's all fine and dandy, but sometimes there's times you need to be active, which means you are better apt to use a shorter-term time frame. Maybe not the 1 minute, but it's always important. If you're looking at like the 30-minute, like maybe the 400-minute and the 2-hour and the daily, like I like to do, and I don't usually look at the 1s and 5s too often, but there become situations when the 1 hour and the daily chart and the half day and 1/3 day charts are important. You need to look at these time frames, and this is one of them, I think. So within this short-term movement, which has done a good job in holding this level so far, 2 hits at 72.80. That's nice. Even 3 if you count this one, and you really can. That's like 3 hits at it. And nice, beautiful rally up to the previous high. So a statement. Very important when I see this for the 18 lows to be held. I don't even want to see it broken from any more than 20 seconds or 1/3 of its time. That's how much I would want to see this being held, because this is a very bullish formation to this point. And getting a new update, there is a situation in which the price did go below the 18 average of lows. I didn't see how long it took, but most likely it was just a quick move. Okay, that's fine. In fact, that would strengthen it more if you could establish a twice hit area towards this area, but move to 73.20 where it was, have a comeback to some sort of higher low. There's only 2 areas where I could see it coming back to. One was where it did, the 18 of lows, and the other would have been this level here. And in a situation where if it does any type of quick rollover in here, then as I mentioned before, there's a good chance you'd come down here with all this extra moving. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a relatively quick one here. With a decent chance it would probably bounce relatively quickly, at least back up to 72.80. But then, of course, there's always a chance that it would roll over further on other time frames like the 5-minute, 10-minute. And when I use the 15, what do I see? I see a lot. And having a decent red candle down to 72.10, 7200 flat wouldn't surprise me. In fact, if I'm looking to decide one of the better ways to play a chart looking at this stage, I think buy order 7200 is a pretty decent strategy. But like I mentioned earlier, there's a risk you don't even get to buy. And if this thing is going to falter, you're always going to buy. Here's the resistance break, even a little higher number here. You need to be a clear break, which would be close to this high within this measure. And of course, we've already broken this point. So 72.10 is one area. Another time frame, 71.30, could easily be further support. That's why I always try to think of all the multiple things that are more likely than other. When I'm looking at patterns, I want to try to find the patterns that are common. because that would always increase your profitability when you could get the advantages that work out better towards your side. That's really the whole point of this. And a move here and here again would be totally fine. But you have a situation where you move up here. It's almost like a now what question mark. Yeah, what's more likely? And I don't know the answer to such, which would be either it's going to come back to support and go somewhere in here, or it's going to have a test of previous resistance. When you have a clear answer to one side or the other, then it makes the play easy to figure out how to play it for profit. But if you don't know, well, one thing of stating is, I don't know if it's going to come down here, but I ask myself the question, if it does, do I want to buy? If the answer is no, then you don't put a buy order in. Or maybe I do want to buy but I want to buy here, and that's where you would put a buy order in. But you have to ask yourself on that if part. Same thing up here. If this comes up to here, do I want to put a sell order in here? Yes or no? And I can see why you would want to say no here. But some people might say yes. It has been a long time since price action was here. It has done a lot since then. It had one decent leg lower with several lower highs and lower lows. A failed rally, but a sell-off that wasn't able to go any further. It had a very good rally, but obviously staying below this trading range before another long sell-off. And well, it made a rally, but not as good as the last one, making a lower high. Then it made an okay sell-off, but a higher low. And it's done very well so far. It's gotten past this previous resistance, but we're still below here. I'm just saying that a lot has been done, and because a lot has been done, that's why I often state that's why resistance is expected on a blind chart. I don't care about these codes. And other than for the reason of my risk-reward management, I don't really care about these numbers. But if I want to know my percentage gain plays, it's of very much large importance. Because I realize that in a situation like this, it has established a pretty good level in here where there's buy points in this area. And then there's this level as well that might go a little deeper, but I might consider either A, buying at the top of this range and or within this range, or at the bottom of this range, which thus coincides with this high and this high, and then you go for your strategy. Sorry for that quick little mishap there. So adjusting the message of the market. This is the 1 minute time frame again. Support has done well at previous resistance. We already know any moves down here is going to be guilty until proven innocent within these sell-offs after we've been looking at the 10, 15-minute charts and all those other longer term ones. And a descending triangle, which is coming close to D-Day. Now I realize this is a long video, and I want to do long videos and I want to do shorter ones. That's is why I love doing the 2.5 minute warnings in the morning. But I'm going to pause this tape for some time so I can make this under 24 or 25, at least attempt to do such. And I just received a comment on a previous video. Another good video, thank you. The silver ratio is definitely intriguing. It's also great to hear a detailed breakdown of the profit taking or hedging strategy. Almost nobody talks about that, probably because they don't know how. Well, the reason that I know how and why it is very important is because of a lot of experience. This goes back to before or around when I'm 12 years old. And I'll comment the rest of it in this video because I remember working a midnight shift, 40 hours a week, 11 p.m. to 7 in the morning, Sunday night through Thursday night, which worked out that I needed to dedicate about, on average, 10 hours of that time to working, answering phones, and doing whatever was necessary, which left me a lot of time to do stuff I enjoy doing, of which one of them was bankroll management simulation. I mean, with sports betting back then, because that's what I wanted to be. I never even considered that of trading markets to be a form of advantage play. But let's get a quick update of the market because it has been about 13 minutes and I haven't even seen it since. And what has happened is very interesting. It has broken this triangle. It pretty much had to very soon, and it did to the upside. Here we go. So here's a triangle break. Oh, that's a big line. But what has happened since? Nice, beautiful up move, very close to previous high. Decent size pierce below, but back down to the 18 average. And during the time duration, I paused the video. And I have these thoughts now again. I keep on thinking about, I mean, what if? What if back in 2011, maybe even 10, but definitely in 11, when I was watching Da Vinci J, and I even think another person who was into Bitcoin who did charts as well. I can't remember his name, but well, about getting into just taking a shot at Bitcoin, I even think, you know what, I probably could have very easily said, hey, Da Vinci, I got like, whatever, 5 ounces of silver. I got a lot to choose from. Do you mind popping me about 30 or whatever Bitcoins is worth, 30 Bitcoins? Because there was about a 6-7 to 1 ratio back then. Well, anyway. And I mentioned when I was in the hotel, I worked at a hotel, and I did the night shift there, that I would have all free time, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, no one's calling. I don't need to do everything. I've done all my documentation, and it's not like anyone's coming in or coming out. So I would have pieces of papers. I would have technology, which is a computer, what they had, which wasn't much, a deck of cards, and that was technology for getting random numbers, as well as a calculator, amongst whatever little other things I used at the time, but those were the main ones. And I would simulate sport betting picks using an advanced random generator to determine not only outcome but probability. Do a whole bunch of different advanced stuff. Document results and simulate gambling. Varied factors in how large, how small, different things like that, raising bankrolls. And I look back today and I realize a lot of what I did back then because I can remember doing some of this. I did a whole bunch of different stuff with my free time. It was fun, but it has helped out really well today. And a quick update on the market. I'm going to pause this again soon. I got 23 minutes. I'm going to take a longer break this time. Range. That's what this has established. And I've talked about that before when you look at it in early stages. Yes, we could be getting breakouts and we could be getting range periods. Let's take a look at this a little bit later. And currently we have 229. But now we have 245. 16 minutes has passed. The trend, however, well, it's still in the range. There's a little added feature towards such. We got the support that is getting stronger and stronger. And we have a descending triangle that is attempting to break to the upside. While I was gone, I noticed one of my favorite altcoins right now, Smart, SMART, has been doing really, really well. It's pumping right now. Well, going up. One of my favorite games in crypto trading is when I go long and I sell for a profit. I'll take what I got in profit and buy it back and resell it. So if I can turn 1 into 1.08, then wager that, it turns into 125. Then wager that, it turns into 160, and so on and so forth. It's really fun and it can accumulate shares really well. Thankfully, over the last several days, I've done very successfully with SMART in doing such. This is what it looks like over the last several months, and it's actually over 1,000 right now after going from close to 3,000 down to 800. But as I look at it, the bid-ask ratio is at 1,000, meaning it's just happening now. Notice the buy over below 1010 is 909. Usually it takes time to accumulate. So therefore, let's let some more time pass. 15 minutes sounds good. It's now 3 o'clock UTC, and that trend line has been broken, which has then been changed. We got this uptrend line still intact. Things are getting pretty interesting right now. Well, it seems as if now is 3 o'clock, but really, 10 minutes later at 3:10, and it's broken out to the upside. What does this mean on the shorter term or longer term time frames? This is 1 minute. We'll use the 60 and nice breakout and a pause candle, sort of like I've been pausing this video often. And we can see that only 12 minutes in to this time frame, 11 and a half, it's already breaking clear. But it's a lot more than 11 and a half minutes into the time frame, more like. And half the time is remaining right now. Let's take a look at some of the comments on the previous video. And it's now been 52 minutes since this comment and 47 minutes since I replied. Well, it's actually been longer. As is this one. JM Bullion, buy gold with Bitcoin. Over super stake BTC for items. They don't ship to Canada. I like silver, gold, bull, and they do offer a 10-ounce bar, at least to Canada. I heard they ship to the States. I don't know about Europe. For spot price. And there's a lot of good prices on there overall. They do well, I think, at competing in the small to medium price range. But if you want to buy big, they don't have that good of prices if you want to buy like 500, 1,000 ounces kind of deal. But for now, I'm not able to buy 1,000 ounces, so that's fine. I know where to get 1,000 ounces of Bitcoin. I hope whatever. They know what that means. Let's do a refresh and see. Well, a bit of time has passed along the way. About 20 minutes to go. A little bit higher. And now under 10 minutes to go in the hour. Time paranoia. 9 minutes, 28 seconds to go. And now 14 seconds to go in the hour. Crazy, crazy. What's been really crazy is how well over this last hour of time, this market, and really the last couple of hours within this rally. Now this 1 minute time frame, a chart I haven't seen in quite some time, must be very sideways. And we've seen a bunch of slow, volatile movement going on until now. This red candle, the difference in price is from 73.61 or so to 38. It's 41, 42 points. That's close to 0.6%, which is like a nothing move in Bitcoin. 0.6%. There's many days the Dow Jones doesn't even get that kind of volatility. It usually does, but when it hits 1% volatility, that's crazy. And let the panic begin, because it has just broken through the support line. 18 average is now starting to decline. It's well below it. It should start to decline rapidly. Price action is now at, well, it's not all-time lows by any means, but it's close to 63-minute lows right at this stage. With such a beautiful bearish pattern after the fall. And why not come up to the 18 average of highs and start to fall? I mean, this is like a beautiful, beautiful sell signal. Descending triangle. The short pattern is only getting stronger. It's a descending triangle. I mean, it's over. It's going to be over. Don't panic. Don't panic. Okay, I mean, let's make sure that this thing works out. And it's now leaving the 18 average of lows within this descending triangle formation. The more often support is tested, the more likely it's taken out. Now, on a serious note, when you're at casino-style games where you can bet on the next 5 minutes and things like that for the price movements of such, this is the things that I used to look for when I played the game. And I would make a bet at like an amazing price that the price would be here in like 5 minutes. Or we'll close there in that time. So to close this video out, I'm looking at this and I see it's the start of a new period of 15 minutes. So I'm going to play it out like I would play one of those casino games. It's the start of a new period. I'll have 4 more periods after this. And I would probably look to place one wager for the price to be below close at 73.24. Maybe around 73.10. And whatever is offered. They usually offer stuff like, oh, will it go below 72.90? We'll give you 6 to 1 odds and some pretty decent odds I remember being offered. Now this was before Bitcoin was invented. Well, when Bitcoin was being invented in its early days, and I do this with like silver and gold. But we'll now play this through and see how this works out. And with 50 seconds to go, it looks like some of them would cash for me. And it would have closed the 5-minute mark down here. Anything, I would have got probably about a 3 to 1 payout. 3.5 in here, plus my minus 115 or minus 120 odds just for the fair price. And it would have probably been a decent amount on that too. But what this goes to show you is technical analysis does work. And I've shown many examples during this 34-minute telecast. And because I'm getting tired and the video's long and I really got nothing much left to say. The price of Smart, I remember seeing that a little while ago. It's up to 1030. Some bids have filled in post 900 on the buy order stage. I have some sell orders I hope to fill and see when I wake up. Well then, it's time now for me to finish this video, and of course you know that by now. But I'll go out stating it's within this bear market, trying to revert it by making a move in here. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye. Now for homework, the question is this at this current time, funny thing, a buy signal, a sell signal, or a hold signal?